Welcome to the Movers and Shakers podcast, where real students are doing real deals in the world of multifamily real estate. I'm Vince Gethings, the owner of the Will Profits Academy. Listen in as we dive into the journeys of driven individuals who are turning their dreams into reality. These people are just like you, taking action and making things happen. If you enjoy the show, please like, subscribe, and if you're ready to take action, check us out at realprofits.com to learn more about our incredible community. Let's get started.
This is Movers and Shakers, where we interview the upcoming generation of make it happen multifamily investors to share their story.
Welcome to the Movers and Shakers podcast. My name is Gino Barbaro, co-founder of Jake and Gino, multifamily investor, educator, father, mentor, and I'm joined by my co-host, my brosif, Joshua Ryan Rusin. Mr. Rusin, how are you doing today?
Gino, doing well, my friend. Just excited about a lot that we have going on here, making it happen, taking massive action, and growing and scaling. Gino, what are you excited about? That's what I want to know. Well,
I just told our guest today that I'm going to have a visitor for the next week or so. So I'm stocking up. I'm getting ready. I don't know if I'm going to be able to survive for the next 7 days, but I'm going to try to make it happen, Josh. Looking forward to seeing you down here in Florida for a few days.
Can't wait. Excited to hop on that plane and escape the dreary Knoxville weather we've been having lately. And actually, speaking of today's guest, we have Wil Glafenhein. A little bit about Wil. So he grew up in East Tennessee, where his father and grandfather were originally in real estate. He started as a broker, and his first 6 years did over 100 million in sales. Knowing the benefits of multifamily, he recently decided to pivot there and has made that a focus, and actually just closed on his first deal of more to come in the pipeline. So welcome to the show, Wil.
Oh, thanks for having me today.
Yeah. All right, Wil, so you're pretty young here. Let's retrace your story. What was it like growing up in real estate, seeing that? And I would love to just kind of enlighten the audience about your journey.
Sure. So growing up in real estate, my father was a developer, did a lot of auctions, built homes. He's done condos and hotels and big stuff like that. But I went to school at the University of Tennessee, graduate statistics major. I worked at Amazon, then quit Amazon, came back home to Knoxville and started a real estate company just because of the entrepreneurial aspect of it. And that's kind of like a telltale, same kind of thing with getting into multifamily, is being able to work for yourself and scale, and you are what you make it type thing.
What do you like about real estate?
I like real estate is it's very merit-based, if that makes sense. You get, like I said, you get out of it what you put into it. If you fail, the only reason for that is the person looking back at you in the mirror. I mean, it's no one else's fault. You can't look externally. You have to look internally. And I thrive in that kind of environment. And the corporate environment is hard because there's a lot of external factors that you can't control as far as like scaling and growing and, creating a better position for yourself and promotions and stuff. But in real estate, like I was a 28-year-old kid starting it and was the top 5 broker in the first 3 years in my marketplace, just because we worked really, really hard. And I think you apply that same thing over to multifamily, is acquiring it, managing it, and just working harder and pushing the envelope. And you create a really cool lifestyle for you and your family. And that's kind of my why, is my family. That's why I quit Amazon and got in.
Let's dissect that. So you were crushing in Amazon, managing 500 plus employees, and it's a risk, right? A leap in entrepreneurship to build your business. What influenced that decision to leave the corporate path? And then what were some of your keys to success as you were scaling up the brokerage? And then, because that's not the average person's results when they take
I think most people are hindered by the fear of the financial aspect of leaving something that's continually streaming in, right, as far as like a job. But that's why I mentioned, a lot of the corporate speakers or whatever, they say, find your why. Like, I think that it has to be a lot less about money, and a lot more about like who you are as a person, what you want to achieve as this one shot you got on this planet kind of thing. And then not caring about anything else, obviously working hard and doing everything you can. But I've never been worried about money, not because I have money. It's just because that's not something I worry about. I worry about doing what's right and working hard and doing fulfilling things and such. But yeah, I mean, absolutely. I was a tier 6 manager with Amazon, which for my age was a really rare thing to see. So it was a pretty substantial position that I was leaving to jump into. I lived in my parents' basement, in-laws basement, for 13 months with my wife, moving back to Knoxville, and couldn't even buy a house because I had no income and everything. So it's like I went from like a really good spot to absolutely nothing. But now what we use this real estate has turned into more than anything you could ever imagine for Amazon. But it kind of really had to take some lumps to get there.
So it's funny, Will, the fear of loss holds people back a lot more than the chance for gain. So you lost a great position at Amazon, but you saw the gain possibility. How did you trick your mind into doing that? Because I've lived in my mom's basement twice. I wish I could still live there right now. Be paying. I had a $20 back 20 years ago. I had like a $20 phone bill a month. I was like in heaven, bro. I wish I could go back. So, how did you get over the fear of loss? Because I'm sure a lot of people say you're crazy, and I want everyone else out there to think about this. Just because you have a W-2 job doesn't mean that you don't have risk. Everyone has that thing that they have money streaming in. Something can happen to Will. He could get disabled. Amazon could start having cutbacks. Anything can happen. Nothing is, concrete set in stone. So how did you get over that fear of loss and say, you know what, I can see the possibility?
Sure. A lot of it's like in the spirit, and even in my spiritual life with my relationship with the Lord, comfort is the enemy in a lot of ways, because you get lackadaisical and soft, and then the things start working in that shouldn't be. So I try not to make my decisions based on the comfort level. And obviously it's very comfortable getting a paycheck, and obviously and so it's hard. Everyone's different. If I had 5 kids like you and I was running a restaurant, I probably couldn't just shut the restaurant down and go hope to make it a multifamily, because I got to feed my kids. So everyone's situation is different, but it wasn't comfortable doing what you had to do. And it was not comfortable doing what I had to do. But I had the support of my wife. That was the first and foremost. I couldn't do her. So I had the backing of my family. My father decided to support me. Like he said, he would start the real estate company with me, because we started it from scratch when I came up to Knoxville. So I made sure like my core circle of influence that I really care about had my back. And then from there, I didn't care what all the other noise was. And that's kind of the similar thing like getting into multifamily. It's just kind of one of the aspects of us trying to reach it out, because we can create great living situations for folks, and also we can create more financial freedom for my personal situation and my family.
I love that. So what made you join Jake and Gino? What said to yourself that I need to join this group, this community, to take it to the next level of multifamily?
Sure. So I'm no stranger to real estate deals. I own an RV park. We got assisted living that's built, just opened this month in Knoxville, it's the largest in East Tennessee. We built homes. I've bought land and flipped it and developed it. So I've done a lot in real estate. But I know enough about real estate to know I don't know enough about certain aspects. So all of those ventures always had key man partners who lived and breathed that entire world. So that was one of the reasons I want to get in with you guys, is because I don't want to pretend like I know everything, and just having the value of the coaches and you guys' asset, even if it's just a 40-second phone call to run something by you, is worth every bit for what we paid to be in the group. Because I think it's great. You need someone that you trust to help guide you through that process, even if it's just one little thing. That one little thing can make all the difference in the world. So
it's amazing, everybody out there. Write this down. Will was an RV, land, assisted living, single family homes, over $100 million in transactions, top broker. And he knew enough to say, you know what, I need somebody out there that is in this specific niche, because every niche is different in real estate, right? Well, there's certain different things, whether it's going into due diligence, whether it's trying to increase the income on the property, whether it's property managing. What differences do you see in multifamily, or have you learned over the last 6 months with Jake and Gino that are prevalent and they're not in the other niches of multifamily? Does anything stand out?
A lot of the due diligence for multifamily is a lot different. Because you're buying sometimes massive, running, basically operating businesses, and being able to vet and go through and say, hey, this operating cost, I'm calling BS on that. Bill Ham's great with that stuff. Or like, hey, here's an opportunity here. You need to be able to scale this here. Well, one deal, Bill talked us out of doing it. We went into it completely blind, and he helped us, because some deals are blind deals, mom and pops, off market. Hey, this is what I make, I think, and you're basically buying on a pro forma. So if you buy on a pro forma, how do you analyze it? So all those little things, because I was telling my partner, Patrick, and he couldn't make the call, I'd rather do no deals than do a bad deal. So I hear all these war stories from you guys, like all these bad deals y'all have done. It's like, that's great and all, but I do not want to make a bad deal. So having y'all's experience and saying, hey, I've made these bad deals before. Don't make this mistake is huge.
Will, let's talk about that deal because you were at the boot camp in Atlanta. I spent some time with you there, the 2-day weekend. Bill Ham was teaching it. We talked about the buy right. We talked about the market cycles. We talked about the underwriting. We even talked about partnerships. Remind me about that deal because I remember you talking about it and there was a lot of meat on the bone, but there was a lot of risk because you had to take this thing over basically. And what did Bill really enlighten you about? What did he say? You know what, let's take a look back at this and let's really dive into this deal.
Yeah, during that Atlanta conference, we were actually under contract with it, and it fell apart about 10 days after that. So we were right in the middle of it. And Bill didn't tell us not to buy it. He just needed to consider these things. One of the main things was a really heavy lift. We have to completely unoccupy an entire building, build new decks. It was about a $400,000 lift. My partner and I were doing it all ourselves, so we weren't syndicating or doing anything like that. And then one of the things like, well, yeah, once we get it here, it's going to be great, but how long does it take to get you there? And then at what point does it take, and these are the questions Bill's asking, what's your break-even point? How many units do you have to have leased? And how much money and time will it take you to get just a break-even point? So we ran that calculation and realized how much money we actually lost, lost in between the ramp period. So that's where we're looking at. It's like, okay, well, even if this is a super, super long-term play, are we going to eat $85,000 to ramp it? And how long will it take to recruit that as opposed to buying another property that's just up in there in small lift, so we decided to make a decision instead of looking at how sexy the numbers were on the back end, like what did it actually take us to get there? And we knew an idea of it, but like actually having just Bill asking 3 questions helped us think a little bit differently. He didn't even really tell us anything. He just asked these questions like, oh, dang. Yeah,
so is it safe to say that 3 questions saved you about $85,000? Is that what I'm hearing right then and there?
I think it saves a lot of time and headache, right? Because we would have made it more if I stuck with it for whatever reason. But yeah, you could look at it that way. I think neither of us have had heartburn about not closing on that deal. But if it wasn't for Bill, we'd have closed on it and we'd be stuck with it right now. And because we're all excited about it. And
that's, but Will, that's not a bad thing, but that might not be the right deal for your first or second deal. That may be a 6th or 7th deal when you're down the road. You have a lot more experience. You may have a CapEx crew. You may say, you know what, I can take a hit for a little bit. I've got some extra cash sitting around. Or that might be a deal where you syndicate and you tell your investors, we need to raise a little extra capital. So it's all that that may not be for your first or second deal. So I totally agree with that. Now you've closed
3 from us, we probably would have done it. But again, another thing was like 15 minutes away, and it's like it's just compounded. So
that's awesome. So you closed on the first deal. What was this first deal, and how did you find it, and what did you like about this first deal?
It was a relationship. It was just through a guy who knew we were real estate kind of thing. Still 8-unit deal, all brick interior. It was brick built. It's not stick built. It was built by bricks. Like it's brick. So it was real easy, low maintenance. So we've already rented all the units out. We've already raised rent over $200 a unit on the 2 units we came out. So it was very undermanaged. Our financing was ridiculous. We literally got 100% financing on a 25-year AM with a 4% interest rate. So I got a check at closing to buy that property.
So it's funny. Everyone out there says there's no deals. There's no deals. What I'm hearing is it's relationship-based business, first of all. The second thing is the 3-step proprietary framework works. Buy right, manage right, and finance right. You've nailed all 3 of those. You bought that right on the front end. You bought sounds like a really good asset with a little bit of different maintenance. You managed it properly because you've gotten the rents up. You've got the management efficiencies. And the finance aspect of it sounds awesome because you've got some great debt on there. What other value adds are you going to do? Are you going to refi this thing out again? Or what's the future look for this deal?
For this deal in particular, I don't really know. It kind of depends on how the world looks. We're planning on every penny we get, we just put back into it, pay the note down, not take anything out of it. And if we find another deal we need some money for, maybe we'll fly out or sell or something right now. But our goal, my partner and I, is more of a Jake and Gino model of, 20 years from now, we want 1,000 units that are just rolling and paying debt down and like a legacy.
So, Will, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you need 20 years to get 1,000 units. It took us a lot less, and we knew a lot less. You've been in the business. You're in a great market. You're going to see the market cycles going up and down. And this 8-unit, what's amazing is you're going to evolve. You're going to say, oh, I can start syndicating, or I can start bringing in partners. oh, I can start refining this deal out. Right now, when I first started in real estate, I wanted to pay notes down also. But then I saw the power of leverage, and I saw the ability to refinance these properties and to scale up and not to over lever the property, still have 75 to 80% leverage. So what is your next deal? What are you looking for in this next property that you're going after?
I think it's just the right opportunity, because I tell my bankers, I tell my relationships and stuff, there's no deal too big, there's no deal too small. We offered, I told you, on a triplex today. And I told you as well, we're working on a 150 unit deal, loose working on it in the Knoxville area. But I would need you guys to like help me. And that's another thing about joining you guys, is like I could take down a 150 unit deal and have no qualms about it, because I know people with the money, I know people who can manage it and analyze the deal and close on it, even though if I can't, being part of the group 5 months, close a 150 unit deal. You know what I mean? So that's like I'm not nervous about putting a $10 million deal under contract. Like I'm just not, just like you guys that we back out, and if it's good, we do it. So I think that's another huge asset, to have like expertise in your corner. You guys would eat up a 150 unit deal. You'd love to look at it, for sure. So that's kind of our next thing, is just whatever the best opportunity we have, we'll run across it.
Good. I love that. Before we get to the short answers, I just want to ask you, what else have you learned? What else have you taken away from the community and just from your education in multifamily, as far as maybe why do you like it a lot more, or, what are the benefits, or what are the aha moments you've had? Like, wow, this makes total sense to me now.
Well, so I've been considering it for a couple of years. My partner and I have, but again, we knew enough to know we didn't know enough. I don't know if there's any in particular aha moment, but I think a lot of the tools you guys have, like that underwriting spreadsheet you guys have, I'm like married to it. I play with it probably 4 or 5 days a week, like just punching stuff in there. It's just a real good snapshot, and I can tell whether or not really clearly is this just a crap deal or a good deal. There's 1,000 different moving parts, so it's a little bit and now you can analyze them really quick. So that tool in itself, I sent that to my banker that I got the 100% financing on. He goes, well, I've never seen anything so awesome in my life. This is awesome. I'm going to take this to the president. And that's we got the thing. And I was like, yeah, that's right. I ended up confessing that I didn't build the spreadsheet.
Hey, rip off and duplicate. Will, I want to ask you, though, the credibility book. You need to have a credibility book. Did you make a credibility book yet?
No.
Oh, I gotta hook you up with the credibility book, because you've got great credibility. You've got the 8 unit. You're gonna get that 3 unit on the contract. You've done other deals out there. So Josh, we've got to get him to create his credibility book. I want to ask you this one more question before short answers. Also, what made you consider so long? I mean, there's a lot of students out there who are like, you know what, I'm not sure if I can do it. You've got the credibility because you've been in the space for so long. You've been you've done other deals, RV and assisted living. What made you wait so long to get into multifamily?
I think a lot of it, for my situation, it wasn't hesitancy. It's just I have a lot going on, right? It's just timing for me and everything. A lot of it was I just didn't know, and I didn't have anyone to help me. And so the only reason we jumped into it is because I texted my partner Patrick. I go, hey, do you want to buy some multifamily? He goes, yeah, I'll go call Jake. He lives down Choteau Road with y'all. And then we texted him, and then we got it all set up. And there we go, because we didn't have anyone to guide us. So that
is awesome. Let's take a quick time out to hear from our sponsors.
Gino and I are super excited to tell you about the audiobook version of The Honeybee, which was recently released.
The Honeybee tells the story of Noah, a disappointed, disaffected salesman who feels like his life is going nowhere until the day he has a chance encounter with a man named Tom Barnum, the beekeeper. In his charming, down-home way, Tom, the bee man, teaches Noah and his wife Emma how to grow their personal wealth using the lessons he learned from his beekeeping passion.
In the audio version, Gino and I sat down for an exclusive interview after each chapter, where we elaborate on the stings we felt throughout the business, the importance of scaling up, and how we've been able to create multiple streams of revenue.
For more information and to get your copy of the audiobook, visit jakeandgino.com/honeybee.
Will, I got some short answer questions here for you. So what's your favorite book you've ever read and why?
My favorite book, oh my gosh. Oh, geez. This Present Darkness.
All right, never heard of that one. Tell me about it.
It's a Frank Peretti novel. It's like it has to do with like angels and demons and like spiritual warfare and stuff like that. And it's all a fictional kind of thing, but it's kind of, I like that kind of stuff. It's just entertaining and intriguing to me. So it's not a business book or anything like that. So sorry to let you down.
So Frank Peretti, he sounds like a guy who makes pizza. He doesn't sound like a writer, to be honest with you, because Italians. So he doesn't sound like a writer. Italians really can't write. We can cook and we can eat. I don't know about writing. So, Josh, what do you think?
He almost sounds like Andretti to me, the race car driver. That's where I go with it. So, all right, Will, what about your best habit for success? I mean, at your age, you have a tremendous track record. You've dominated W-2, brokerage, different industries. Best habit to make all this happen?
Best habits. I'm not inherently an habitual type person, right? When I train my team, I got over 20 people on my team in our brokerage firm. So it's good to have long, short-term goals. I know this is a short answer, but basically I look no more than 8 hours in front of me. What am I doing now? What am I doing next? How's my day looking? And every single day I just push and grow. I don't have a wake-up schedule because I got into being an entrepreneur because I wanted to be flexible. Like I'm in Florida right now. I was telling, we booked it on Sunday and showed up on Monday morning just because we wanted to, and I'm still working and doing stuff. So I'm not a super habit guy. I think a lot of it's just your mindset and being persistent. To answer your question, persistence. If you can nail it to one number, stay persistent. So that's a really long short.
All right. I love that. Okay. So there's been some really good golden nuggets in this episode. I want to go over a few of them. I think Will hit something that we didn't really dive into, but he talked about, he wasn't really worried about money, but he was worried about his actions and the merit of them. So when you really look at it, money is actually a byproduct of your actions. So if you can focus on the actions and have a operating system or core values for those, going to produce that result, which is money. Another one, it's not what you don't know that gets you hurt, but actually what you don't know is what's most dangerous. And the moment you have a fixed mindset or you stop growing, usually gets you in trouble, right? So the takeaway for me, when we had a money mixer last year, and even Jake came away with some takeaways on that one. That was in Nashville. So it's like even these guys who I look up to tremendously still realize they don't know it all, and there's room to grow and get better. So love that. Gino, what do you have to add to that?
Josh, there's a lot here. The environment is really important. Who you surround yourself is really important every day. So if you want to get into assisted living, find people who are doing that. Will has a lot of track record, RV, land, assisted living, single family homes. I had mentioned all that. Just because you're really good at one area, one niche, and you want to develop another one, don't be afraid to go out there and get coached. Don't be afraid to go out there and invest in your education, because it's going to come back tenfold for you. Also, Will is going to be working on very soon. He's got it right now, is the multifaceted aspect of real estate, where he's going to be creating multiple streams of revenue from these assets. And he's going to have that really beautiful symbiotic relationship where he's got the brokerage going on. He's going to start syndicating, raising money for these deals, maybe possibly managing these properties. So he's got a really amazing future ahead of him. Josh, what else you got? Because there's a lot of stuff in here. I mean, we can continue on this story, because what I love about it is Will joined the community. He went and he jumped in head first, and he took a look at a couple of deals, and he didn't pull the trigger, and he's continuing to get the deal flow. He's not afraid to start small. Think big, but start small. A 3-unit, if it makes sense, let's buy that asset right now, and let's continue to look. And you know what? 150 units comes my way, I'll figure it out. That's what I like about it. It's all about commitment and persistence. That's a great combination right there.
Yeah. One more to add to that. When Will first started to make the leap, he looked at his circle and he made sure everyone there was supportive. I think that's
yes.
Cool. That was something I definitely didn't have when I first started this, right? A lot of my friends, family were like, that's risky. What are you doing? And now on the other side, getting results, obviously they're supportive because they see it. However, early on, they didn't understand it, so they justified it as scary. So really, really love that. Will, how can the listeners get a hold of you?
You can email me. That's probably the best way, or you Facebook me. My name's really goofy if you try to look me up on Facebook. Spelled Glafenhein, Glafenhein, Wil Glafenhein. But my email is wil.g@honorsproperties.com.
Awesome. Well, I want to thank you for being an amazing guest on the show and sharing your movers and shakers story. Now, if you want to be the next movers and shakers guest, email us, josh@jakeandgino.com. And if you like the show, please leave us a review. And until next time, let's make it a movers and shakers week. See you, everybody.
Thanks, Will. Thanks, Josh.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody.